Hi, welcome to the Christy Day channel. Today I'm actually answering a letter that I received from one of my viewers. Debbie Elmer wrote in regarding lace edges. A while back I did a video on creating a lace edge on a pillowcase, kind of like the vintage pillowcases that you see that are embroidered and they have a crocheted lace edge. So this is what she writes. Hi Christy, I watched your video on how to crochet a lace edge on a pillowcase. This is the first video of yours that I have watched and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad. Okay. I was wondering if you could please do a video on a fancy lace edge treatments that you described that your mother had created. I would love to see them. I'm doing some pillowcases for my boys. I have some vintage ones for inspiration. However, I'm wondering what kind of fabric vintage pillowcases were made of and why they feel so durable. Also, how do you make these simple fancy edges? It would be the steps before you add the crochet. Besides using an awl, did people stitch it in? Is there a much variety? But I don't even know the vocabulary to describe these. Could you address some of these many techniques using the finished edge pillowcases especially? I just love the variety that I find in vintage sales. Okay, Debbie, so here you go. I brought up a couple examples of the lace edges. Now here's one of my mom's pillow, or one of her washcloths that she did do a lace edge on. You see that? And she literally crocheted it into the cloth. You can see these little stitches right in here. Now she had a whole set of beautiful towels, and a friend borrowed those towels to go to the beach. I was like, why would you let anybody take them to the beach? But they borrowed them and they kept them. So my mom no longer has her gorgeous set of towels, but she did still have some extra crocheted lace that she hadn't attached to, because as I mentioned, when the towels would wear out, she would just take the lace off because she hadn't stitched them into all of the towels so that she could just remove it. So here's some of her lace, and this is what it would look like on an ordinary towel. So she would just stitch it right on there. And see, it really, really classes up a standard towel. It's because I'm, without, an edge without, meh, I mean, okay, but with, ooh la la, so much nicer. So, moms like me, she tends to make her own patterns, and these patterns are really, really simple. They're not that difficult, and so we'll go into that a little bit. The other thing I wanted to show you is this book. This book is like the Bible of all needlework. If you can ever find this book, I don't know if it's still in print. It was by Reader's Digest. It's from like, I don't know, the 70s or something. But it has in it every type of example of every type of needlework, including the embroidery. So I've made many pillowcases, but this is the only one I can find around the house right now that I embroidered, and I didn't put a lace edge on this one. So you can do embroidery work, and you can actually buy kits that have the print already on here, and then you can embroider them. And then when you wash it, the print comes out. But you wouldn't see the print anyways because the pattern washes off. Then you can also buy patterns. I probably have them up there. I don't think I can pause this. You can buy patterns and then iron them onto whatever fabric you want. It transfers the pattern, and it'll transfer, like 3 times. And that's what I use for my tea towels. Almost all the tea towels that I've done were done before my children were born, and almost all of them are like destroyed now. But I still use them, but they look real ratty, so I'm not gonna show them to you right now. But they're really nice when I first did them, and they lasted for years. All of those you can actually buy the tea towel fabric right at Walmart on the craft aisle still. It's still there. They're called tea towels, cotton tea towels. And you could theoretically maybe make a pillowcase, but that's pretty open weave. Now regarding these vintage type fabrics that are used for your pillowcases, that's just really good cotton. Okay, so you could just go to the store. My mom highly recommends the Martha Stewart line of nice 100% cotton sheets and use those, because you're like, oh, this is so durable and it's so soft, because over the years, cotton linens, I don't like this glare on my glasses, so I'm gonna take it off. Cotton linens become softer, and they're very durable. So just use 100% cotton. That's what you're looking for if you want something that feels vintagey. There's almost, you know, there's so many sheets that you can buy nowadays, and the ones that you're gonna see down the main aisle at, you know, your regular department store are gonna be a poly cotton blend because they don't require ironing. But 100% cotton usually does require ironing. Now, my mom's other tip is, if you're gonna make lace that is sewn on, you definitely want to wash your lace before you add it to your towels or whatever, because this is made out of cotton lace weight. Comes in a cone usually, so it's on a cone, or you can get the lighter that's on this thing, and that is in a just a big ball. Looks kind of like kite string, but this cotton will shrink. So you want to pre-shrink it. You want to measure your towel or whatever you're putting it on and make it a little bit longer than that. And then wash it and dry it so it will shrink, okay? Now, here's one I did on a tunic. And this is kind of partially Nuno felted. So I Nuno felted the arms to close it off. And it's kind of fun. But the edge, I finished by crochet. So see, I stitched it in. You say, well, how did you stitch it in? Well, I mentioned in the other video, I used these little metal crochet hooks, and they're real sharp at the top. So watch, they puncture right through super easily. Now I got a permanent hole there. But, you know, now you said, well, what about the woman that made the holes and they were stitched around so that you could put it in? Because that was really super tightly woven. This is not tightly woven, which is why it's awesome for Nuno felting. And if you don't know what Nuno felting is, that's pushing, it's pushing wool through the fiber. And then that finished this edge up by my neck. It's nice and soft. Actually, this is not wool, this is alpaca. But any super fine fiber like merino wool or alpaca can go through there, and you can finish the edge that way, but that's not what you're interested in. You're interested in crochet. So anyways, this punctures through there because that's a loosely woven fabric. But a tighter woven fabric, like this, it can still go through. See, if I wanted to, this is doubled because it has a seam over here. But even if I did that, I could still, I'm pretty sure, puncture through here. Let's see. Can I do it? Hold on. Oh, that's hard. Maybe I could only do it this way. Yeah, okay, I can't do double. I can only do the single. But you would go through there and then you would pull through your stitch. So that's super easy. So you just would go through there, pull the stitch. I'm assuming you know how to crochet. You're gonna have to know how to crochet to do this. If you don't know how to crochet and you need an actual video on crocheting, then we can try to do that. But I'll have to zoom in so you can see the stitches, because these are really small little needles. But you would just go in, pull it through, and then go in, pull it through, go in, pull it through. I kind of do the same sort of thing almost with my awls. Not really. But anyways, that's how you do that. Now there is one other type of lace, and this is an example of cut work lace. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, how'd she get that? Well, this I purchased. I didn't make this, and you'll see it's actually sewn in. So they sewed it on here, but to make this lace, it's called cut work. And what you do is you're making like a buttonhole, and then, you know, you cut out the fabric in between there. So if you go to your handy dandy complete needlework guide by Reader's Digest, and you open it to page 90 and 91, you'll see an example of cut work lace right here. It's done on tablecloths a lot, but she made it for her lace at the edge. This is basically how you do it. So you draw where you're going to make your design. So they drew a circle there. This is where the cut is going to be. So they planned it and they stitch around. And then after they get that base edge stitch, they do this stitch, which is a buttonhole stitch. Being careful not to go over the bar stitch. Okay, these are little bar stitches. This is a little base edge. You go up and down until you eventually create something that looks like this. And then you cut it out. Then this is the little lace work that they did in between to make this. Okay, so you can do all sorts of stuff like that, but it is called open work, cut work, embroidery. All right, so that's what you want to research, is something called open work or cut work embroidery. It's very beautiful. It was done on a lot of old handkerchiefs and things. Also, people used to do it if they got a hole in something. Like, say you had a great handkerchief that had some beautiful lace on it and got a hole in it. You're like, oh, for crying out loud, I can't believe I got a hole in this. This is so much work. So they would go, I will just, wherever that hole is, I will do a little cut work, lace work, and make it part of a design. And so that's how people preserved and prolonged their linens. Smart, huh? All right. So, regarding patterns, now this pattern, my mom is a huge fan of shells, and so am I. So making a shell is super easy. You're just doing a bunch of single crochets into one hole. So I think she did like 7 here, and then she continues to go over. But there's so many patterns. There are patterns on the back of when you buy your yarn. See all these little things right here? A lot of these, you can find patterns on the yarn that's there. You can find patterns on the websites of the people that make the yarn. You can go on Ravelry.com and find all kinds of patterns. Some of them you have to buy. But literally, you can make up your own patterns. All you need to know is the stitches. And you can get a whole, this is an entire library of stitches. Every stitch known to mankind is in this book. So, but almost everything that you do just pretty much involves a single crochet and a double crochet. It's very simple. It's not difficult at all. This entire outfit over here, I'm working on this sweater, expanding it, and I'm making some sleeves for it right now. This is all single and double crochet. That's it. Maybe a triple crochet here and there, but I mean, that's all that is. It looks quite elaborate, but it's very, very simple. So what I'm saying is, just go ahead and start. Just start messing around with a little bit of fine cotton yarn. You'll see it'll be called mercerized cotton in the Walmart aisle. It's just a spool that looks like these on the back here. They usually come in white. Just look like that. They're about this big. I have one over there, but I didn't bring it. And you just start crocheting with that. So it's just crocheting on a very, you know, using a very tiny, tiny needle. So like here's a lace needle. Here's a normal needle. So this is a big difference in width. You're just using smaller stuff. So I hope that answers all your questions. So in terms of fabric, you're looking for 100% cotton, tightly woven, especially if you're going to do cut work. You must have tightly woven stuff to do the cut work. If you're doing lace, just look up lace patterns. There's a plethora of lace patterns all over YouTube, all over the internet, and in your stores and in your library. They're everywhere. So find one that you like and just follow the directions. And if you really want me to design you one, then I did show you how to do that one. It was very simple, but there's all kinds of edges. And if you're looking for those little, this one, so easy that I did, this is fun. This one curls on its own, because all it is adding a crochet, a single crochet over and over. Like first you do one row of single crochet, then you do one single crochet, 2 single crochets in each hole, and then you go 3, and then you go 4, and then it curls in on itself. I've done a bunch of things like that. I have them elsewhere. I've used them to make like flowers and corals for like brain corals that look like in the ocean. They're really fun. But all that is just doubling the amount of single crochets in each hole, each row. And it makes a really good ruffle. That's it. I hope that answers all your questions, Debbie. If you guys ever have any other questions, please feel free to write me, and I will read your letter on the channel and try to answer it as best I can. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.